Deuteronomy, chapters 20 through 22. If thou shouldest go forth to war against thine enemies, and thou shouldest see a horse and rider, and a people more numerous than thyself, thou shalt not be afraid of them, for the Lord thy God is with thee, who brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall come to pass, whenever thou shalt draw nigh to battle, that the priest shall draw nigh and speak to the people, and shall say to them, Hear, O Israel, ye are going this day to battle against your enemies. Let not your heart faint. Fear not, neither be confounded, neither turn aside from their face. For it is the Lord your God who advances with you, to fight with you against your enemies, and to save you. And the scribe shall speak to the people, saying, What man is he that has built a new house, and has not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the war, and another man dedicate it. And what man is he that has planted a vineyard, and not been made merry with it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man be made merry with it. And what man is he that has betrothed a wife, and has not taken her? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in battle, and another man take her. And the scribe shall speak further to the people, and say, What man is he that fears, and is cowardly in his heart? Let him go and return to his house, lest he make the heart of his brother fail as his own. And it shall come to pass, when the scribe shall have ceased speaking to the people, that they shall appoint generals of the army to be leaders of the people. And if thou shalt draw nigh to a city to overcome them by war, then call them out peaceably. If then they should answer peaceably to thee, and open to thee, it shall be tributary and subject to thee. But if they will not hearken to thee, but wage war against thee, thou shalt invest it, until the Lord thy God shall deliver it into thy hands, and thou shalt smite every male of it with the edge of the sword, except the women and the stuff, and all the cattle, and whatsoever shall be in the city, and all the plunder thou shalt take as spoil for thyself, and shalt eat all the plunder of thine enemies, whom the Lord thy God gives thee. Thus shalt thou do to all the cities that are very far off from thee, not being of the cities of these nations which the Lord thy God gives thee to inherit their land. Of these ye shall not take anything alive, but ye shall surely curse them, the Chetite, and the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Perizzite, and the Evite, and the Jebusite, and the Girgazite, as the Lord thy God commanded thee, that they may not teach you to do all their abominations, which they did to their gods, and so ye should sin before the Lord your God. And if thou shouldest besiege a city many days to prevail against it by war to take it, thou shalt not destroy its trees by applying an iron rod to them, but thou shalt eat of it, and thou shalt not cut it down. Is the tree that is in the field a man to enter before thee into the work of the siege? But the tree which thou knowest to be not fruit-bearing, this thou shalt destroy and cut down, and thou shalt construct a mound against the city, which makes war against thee, until it be delivered up. And if one be found slain with the sword in the land, which the Lord thy God gives thee to inherit, having fallen in the field, and they do not know who has smitten him, thine elders and thy judges shall come forth, and shall measure the distances of the cities round about the slain man. And it shall be that the city which is nearest to the slain man, the elders of that city, shall take a heifer of the herd, which has not labored, and which has not borne a yoke. And the elders of that city shall bring down the heifer into a rough valley, which has not been tilled, and is not sown, and they shall slay the heifer in the valley. And the priests, the Levites, shall come, because the Lord God has chosen them to stand by him, and to bless in his name. And by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be decided. And all the elders of that city who draw nigh to the slain man shall wash their hands over the head of the heifer which was slain in the valley. And they shall answer and say, Our hands have not shed this blood, and our eyes have not seen it. Be merciful to thy people Israel, whom thou hast redeemed, O Lord, that innocent blood may not be charged on thy people Israel. And the blood shall be atoned for to them, and thou shalt take away innocent blood from among you, if thou shouldest do that which is good and pleasing before the Lord thy God. And if when thou goest out to war against thine enemies, the Lord thy God should deliver them into thine hands, and thou shouldest take their spoil, and shouldest see among the spoil a woman beautiful in countenance, and shouldest desire her, and take her to thyself for a wife, and shouldest bring her within thine house, then shalt thou shave her head, and pare her nails, and shalt take away her garments of captivity from off her, and she shall abide in thine house, and shall bewail her father and her mother the days of a month. And afterwards thou shalt go into her and dwell with her, and she shall be thy wife. And it shall be, if thou do not delight in her, thou shalt send her out free, and she shall not by any means be sold for money. Thou shalt not treat her contemptuously, because thou hast humbled her. And if a man have two wives, the one loved and the other hated, and both the loved and the hated should have borne him children, and the son of the hated should be firstborn, then it shall be that whensoever he shall divide by inheritance his goods to his sons, he shall not be able to give the right of the firstborn to the son of the loved one, having overlooked the son of the hated, which is the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the firstborn of the hated one, to give him double of all things which shall be found by him. because he is the first of his children, and to him belongs the birthright. And if any man has a disobedient and contentious son, who hearkens not to the voice of his father and the voice of his mother, and they should correct him, and he should not hearken to them, then shall his father and his mother take hold of him, and bring him forth to the elders of the city, and to the gate of the place. And they shall say to the men of their city, This our son is disobedient and contentious. He hearkens not to our voice. He is a reveler and a drunkard. And the men of his city shall stone him with stones, and he shall die. And thou shalt remove the evil one from yourselves, and the rest shall hear and fear. And if there be sin in any one, and the judgment of death be upon him, and he be put to death, and ye hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but ye shall by all means bury it in that day. For everyone that is hanged on a tree is cursed of God. And ye shall by no means defile the land which the Lord thy God gives thee for an inheritance. When thou seest the calf of thy brother or a sheep wandering in the way, thou shalt not overlook them. Thou shalt by all means turn them back to thy brother, and thou shalt restore them to him. And if thy brother do not come nigh thee, and thou dost not know him, thou shalt bring it into thy house within, and it shall be with thee until my brother shalt seek them, and thou shalt restore them to him. Thus shalt thou do to his ass, and thus thou shalt do to his garment, and thus shalt thou do to everything that thy brother has lost. Whatsoever shall be made lost by him, and thou shalt have found, thou shalt not have power to overlook. Thou shalt not see the ass of thy brother, or his calf, fallen in the way. Thou shalt not overlook them. Thou shalt surely help him to raise them up. The apparel of a man shall not be put on a woman, neither shall a man put on a woman's dress. For everyone that does these things is an abomination to the Lord thy God. And if thou shouldest come upon a brood of birds before thy face in the way, or upon any tree, or upon the earth, young or eggs, and mother be brooding on the young or the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young ones. Thou shalt by all means let the mother go, but thou shalt take the young to thyself, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long. If thou shouldest build a new house, then shalt thou make a parapet to thy house, so that thou shalt not bring blood guiltiness upon thy house, if one should in any wise fall from it. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seed, lest the fruit be devoted, and whatsoever seed thou mayest sow with the fruit of thy vineyard, thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Thou shalt not wear a mingled garment, woolen and linen together. Thou shalt make fringes on the four borders of thy garments, with whichsoever thou mayest be clothed. And if any one should take a wife, and dwell with her, and hate her, and attach to her reproachful words, and bring against her an evil name, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found not her tokens of virginity, then the father and the mother of the damsel shall take and bring out the damsel's tokens of virginity to the elders of the city to the gate. And the father of the damsel shall say to the elders, I gave this my daughter to this man for a wife, and now he has hated her, and attaches reproachful words to her, saying, I have not found tokens of virginity with thy daughter, and these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall unfold the garment before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man, and shall chastise him, and shall fine him 100 shekels, and shall give them to the father of the damsel, because he has brought forth an evil name against a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He shall never be able to put her away. But if this report be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then shall I bring out the damsel to the doors of her father's house, and shall stone her with stones, and she shall die, because she has wrought folly among the children of Israel, to defile the house of her father by whoring. So thou shalt remove the evil one from among you. And if a man be found lying with a woman married to a man, he shall kill them both, the man that lay with a woman, and the woman. So shalt thou remove the wicked one out of Israel. And if there be a young damsel espoused to a man, and a man should have found her in the city, and have lain with her, you shall bring them both out to the gate of the city, and they shall be stoned with stones, and they shall die. The damsel, because she cried not in the city, and the man, because he humbled his neighbor's spouse. So shalt thou remove the evil one from yourselves. But if a man find in the field a damsel that is betrothed, and he should force her, and lie with her, ye shall slay the man that lay with her only, and the damsel has not committed a sin worthy of death, as if a man should rise up against his brother, and slay him. So is this thing. Because he found her in the field, the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to help her. And if any one should find a young virgin, who has not been betrothed, and should force her, and lie with her, and be found, the man who lay with her shall give to the father of the damsel 50 silver didrachms, and she shall be his wife, because he has humbled her. He shall never be able to put her away. A man shall not take his father's wife, and shall not uncover his father's skirt. Psalm 59, 60 in Hebrew. For the end, for them that shall yet be changed. For an inscription by David for instruction, when he had burned Mesopotamia of Syria, and Syria Sobal, and Joab had returned and smitten in the valley of Salt 12,000. O God, thou hast rejected and destroyed us. Thou hast been angry. Thou hast pitied us. Thou hast shaken the earth and troubled it. Heal its breaches, for it has been shaken. Thou hast shown thy people hard things. Thou hast made us drink the wine of astonishment. Thou hast given a token to them that fear thee, that they might flee from the bow. Pause. That thy beloved ones may be delivered. Save with thy right hand, and hear me. God has spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice, and divide Sikima, and measure out the valley of tents. Gilead is mine, and Manasseh is mine, and Ephraim is the strength of my head. Judas is my king. Moab is the caldron of my hope. Over Idumea will I stretch out my shoe. The Philistines have been subjected to me. Who will lead me into the fortified city? Who will guide me as far as Idumea? Wilt not thou, O God, who hast cast us off? And wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our forces? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the deliverance of man. In God will we do valiantly, and he shall bring to naught them that harass us. Proverbs chapter 12, verses 11 through 13. He that tills his own land shall be satisfied with bread, but they that pursue vanities are void of understanding. He that enjoys himself in banquets of wine shall leave dishonor in his own strongholds. The desires of the ungodly are evil, but the roots of the godly are firmly set. For the sin of his lips a sinner falls into snares, but a righteous man escapes from them. He whose looks are gentle shall be pitied, but he that contends in the gates will afflict souls. The Holy Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter 10, verses 32 through 52. And they were in the way going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus went before them, and they were amazed. And as they followed, they were afraid. And he took again the 12, and began to tell them what things should happen unto him, saying, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be delivered unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles. And they shall mock him, and shall scourge him, and shall spit upon him, and shall kill him. And the third day he shall rise again. And James and John, the sons of Zebedee, come unto him, saying, Master, we would that thou shouldest do for us whatsoever we shall desire. And he said unto them, What would ye that I should do for you? They said unto him, Grant unto us that we may sit, one on thy right hand, and the other on thy left hand, in thy glory. But Jesus said unto them, Ye know not what ye ask. Can ye drink of the cup that I drink of, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? And they said unto him, We can. And Jesus said unto them, Ye shall indeed drink of the cup that I drink of, and with the baptism that I am baptized withal shall ye be baptized. But to sit on my right hand and on my left hand is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared. And when the 10 heard it, they began to be much displeased with James and John. But Jesus called them to him, and saith unto them, Ye know that they which are accounted to rule over the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and their great ones exercise authority upon them. But so shall it not be among you. But whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister, and whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be the servant of all. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life as a ransom for many. And they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging. And when he heard it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And then he charged him that he should hold his peace. But he cried the more a great deal, Thou son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stood still, and commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, saying unto him, Be of good comfort, rise, he calleth thee. And he, casting away his garment, rose, and came to Jesus. And Jesus answered and said unto him, What wilt thou that I should do unto thee? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. And Jesus said unto him, Go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. and immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way.